Hello and good evening. I'm Melisa Idris. Welcome to Consider This. This is the show where we want you to consider and then reconsider what you know of the news of the day. Palestinians in Gaza have already endured 22 months of displacement and bloodshed, with entire neighborhoods reduced to rubble, families torn apart, and now food and medicine have been cut off. Tonight we speak directly to someone living through it. Dr Ziad Shehada is the General Manager of MYCARE's office in Gaza. He joins us now. Dr Ziad, thank you so much for being on the show with me today. What is life like for you and your family right now as you speak to us in Gaza?
Okay, first of all, I would like to thank Astro AWANI for giving this opportunity to speak about the situation in Gaza. Actually, life right now in Gaza is very hard to explain to anyone who has not lived it. Every single day is about survival. We wake up to the sound of drones or explosions. We go to sleep with the same sound in our ears. We've been actually displaced more than once, sometimes because our area became too dangerous, sometimes because the building next to us was destroyed. Every move means leaving behind whatever little comfort we've managed to rebuild, mattresses, blankets, sometimes even clothes, and starting over in a new unsafe place. Most of my day is spent in queues, the bread queue, the water queue, sometimes the queue for aid that may not even arrive. And even it does arrive, it's often not enough for everyone. So people go home empty-handed, unfortunately. I look around and see the same exhaustion in every face. People walk slower, talk less, and even laughter is brief and cautious, as if joy might draw bad luck.
Can I ask you, Dr. Ziad, how are you and your family and your community finding food and water right now, given that we know there is an Israeli-induced starvation? You talked about waiting in queues, spending your days waiting in queues. Who's running those queues? Where are those queues? Tell us more.
Basically, the truth is we are not finding enough. Food here is scarce. Prices are beyond what most people can afford. Even if you have money, there is no guarantee the market will have what you need. Many days, families skip meals. Some days, we eat once. For children, it means bread and tea for days, without a single vegetable or piece of fruit. The international reports about famine are not exaggerating. They are actually understatements. Water is another battle. Safe drinking water is almost gone. We rely on trucked water, but it's irregular. And sometimes salty or free. If you have fuel, you boil it. If not, you drink it and hope you don't get sick. And it's not just hunger and thirst. It's the weakness that comes with them. You see adults too tired to walk far, and children too tired to play. Actually, this is the truth on the ground. All the day when I go to implement some project, all the faces of people are so tired. All of them very sad. All of them screaming, crying. The situation, actually, the real situation on the ground is very bad, and no one, even no words in this world can describe the very bad situation in the Gaza Strip right now.
Dr. Ziad, you mentioned children. Can you talk to me about the children in Gaza today? What are you seeing in the children around you? How are they coping with what's happening, with what's happened to them?
Okay, this is actually maybe the hardest question, the hardest thing to talk about. Children here have lost so much of their childhood. You see it in their faces. They don't run or play the way the pictures of bombs and planes, not flowers and houses. Silent, others cry easily. Many have nightmares and wake up screaming. Bedwetting is common, even among older children. And physically, many are malnourished. They have no healthy food. You can see their bones, their hair is thinning, and their growth has stalled. UNICEF says nearby every child in Gaza is in a crisis, mentally and physically. I see that every day. They ask questions. Those children ask, will we die tonight? Those are even my child. Ask, will we die tonight? Or why did my friend not wake up? So once the bomb nearby, this happened to me. Our neighbor already targeted, bombed. So we try, me and my family, go and try to help to save them. But my child see the body in the street. So they see their friends and ask me, where's my friend? Why they still asleep? Why they did not wake up? So this is the truth. Few days ago, we did a very emotional project. So actually, we go to help the children who lost both parents, the father and mother, and they are the only survival in the family. So I meet too many children in a court and go to help them. But when I see hundreds of children in the court, all of them lost their families. They are the only live. So most of them less than 6 years. They are almost from 3 years old to 12 years old. But the majority is around 6. So 6 years old, this means the first year of school. So supposed to go to school, play, to kindergarten. But when I ask them, and the first thing, this is wallahi what happened. The first thing when I have a package and I want to give, the first thing they hug me. So when I hug, even me, I cry because they believe in me like the father. They lost the father, the mother. No one can help them. Now they stay with their grandfathers. They stay actually with their relatives. So this is the truth on the ground. Yeah. Sorry.
Dr. Ziad, how old are your children?
My my child. I have four, but the youngest one is Abdullah. Abdullah now 5 years old. He was born in Malaysia, by the way, because I back to Gaza during the COVID-19 in 2020. So he was born, and I take him back to Gaza. So now every day he told me we are waiting the Rafah crossing between Gaza and Egypt to open, and we want to travel to Malaysia. I asked him why. He said, I want to eat, I want to play, I want to see. When I show him a video for a sea, by the way, we stay near the sea. So the sea here, the Mediterranean Sea, is less than 1 kilometer. But since 7 October, it's unreachable. So I want to go to the sea. I want to swim. It's nearby, but we can reach. So, yeah, Alhamdulillah.
Dr. Ziad, can I ask you, when you see how the world is talking about Gaza in the news, does it reflect the reality as you're living through it today? What are we missing from outside of Gaza what would you like us to understand about what life is like for you in Gaza today?
Okay, actually, sometimes yes, but often no. When I read headlines, I see numbers, deaths, air trucks, displacement figures, but numbers don't capture the smell of dust after a building falls, or the sound of a child calling for their mother under the rubble. I also see news that says air trucks entered Gaza. But what's missing is that the aid is nowhere near enough. And that getting to the distribution point can be dangerous. Sometimes aid is described as it's flowing freely. The truth is it's a trickle. And sometimes the coverage makes it sound like this is a natural disaster, like a storm or earthquake. But it's not nature. This is man-made. And because it's a man-made, it can be stopped. So this is why I ask people around the world to help us, not help us just with the donation, but help us to stop this genocide, to stop this man-made war, at least to save the children, the future generation. We are talking about ourselves. I can stay here, even the bomb around me. But I cannot stay once I see my children crying and my wife screaming. So this is our message to the world.
Dr. Ziad, thank you so much for your words today and for helping us understand what you are going through, and hopefully we will get that message out there. Thank you so much for your time today. It's been my honor to talk to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Ziad. That was really moving. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay.
Take care. Bye-bye. That was Dr. Ziad Shehada, the General Manager of MYCARE in Gaza. We're going to take a quick break here and consider this. We'll be back with more. Stay tuned. Hi, welcome back to Consider This. I'm Melisa Idris. More than 100 humanitarian organizations are accusing Israel of blocking life-saving aid from reaching Gaza, leaving warehouses in Jordan and Egypt filled with food, medicine, water, and shelter supplies, all while Palestinians face starvation in Gaza. Now, among the signatories to the joint statement is Doctors Without Borders, known by their French acronym MSF. My guest tonight is Juan Perfecto Rafael Palma, who is a registered nurse based in the Philippines and a project medical referent with MSF. He has just returned from 2 months in Gaza, where he oversaw medical operations in midst of siege and a man-made famine. Juan, thank you so much for being on the show with me today. So you've just returned from having served in Gaza for a couple of months. You've returned, I think, earlier this month in August. How would you describe the humanitarian situation when you left last month, particularly in terms of access to medical care and basic necessities?
Yes, when I left this first week of August, the situation remains devastating. As everyone knows that humanitarian aid is not able to enter Gaza in a sustainable and a regular basis. This is hampering our medical operations for international medical organizations like MSF. We are suffering from this. We are not able to provide the needed medical care on a continuous basis because of some supplies on pre-rupture basis. Like, for example, we have to put on hold some of our surgical procedures because we ran out of abdominal gauze, and also we ran out of external fixators. So this is remaining to be a challenge to provide the proper and needed medical care for the people in Gaza.
Right. So according to that joint statement by more than 100 aid groups, they're accusing Israel of weaponizing aid, obstructing life-saving aid from entering Gaza. Can I ask you, Juan, just because you've overseen some of the medical operations there, had you personally witnessed aid being delayed or restricted or blocked? And I'm wondering what that means in practical terms for the aid workers, for humanitarian workers like yourself in MSF, and for the people who are hurt and injured, and the patients that you want to help.
Yes, so in Gaza, I was managing the South operations of MSF Belgium, and we were running 3 facilities: 1 field hospital, 1 primary healthcare center with a trauma stabilization point, and 1 wound dressing tent. So if you could imagine, all these facilities depends on a regular supply chain, so that we will be able to cater to the overflowing needs of the population in Gaza. So as I mentioned earlier, this is one of the major factor of the complexity of the situation in Gaza, because of there's no sustainable ceasefire, aid is not able to enter on a regular basis. We are always almost in pre-rupture of the needed medical supplies. And because of that, sometimes there are delays in the provision of medical care to patients. If I can remember correctly, for 2 months I was there, we were receiving almost every day mass casualty incidents in relation to the aid distribution sites. Imagine, you have the aid distribution sites, you have the airdrop. There was an instance that an airdrop fell nearby our field hospital, and people were rushed to our hospital because some were injured because of the airdrops. So this is truly devastating. Imagine the overflow of high influx of patients coming to our facilities, and you complicate it with delays in the entry of humanitarian aid, and this affects much the provision of the urgent life-saving interventions for the people in Gaza.
All right. So you mentioned the aid distribution. So we know that it is run by the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, the GHF, which is Israeli controlled. Reports have put numbers around close to 900 Palestinians killed while attempting to access aid supplies, while waiting in queues for GHF distribution sites. Can I ask you, in the past 2 months when you were there, what did you observe about these aid distribution sites and the way it's being operated, and what have you seen in terms of hunger and malnutrition in Gaza?
Yes, it can be easily correlated with every time that there is an announcement that an aid distribution site will open and people will go there. At the same day, we will receive, that's almost automatic, we will receive a high influx of patients related to that. So there was a trend until now. So since I started until now, there's a trend that every time there's an opening of the distribution site, more and more patients are being sent to our hospitals, and not only to our hospitals, the Ministry of Health hospitals and the field hospitals of INGOs. Every hospital is already in an overcapacity status. Time will come that we will reach a breaking point in which hospitals cannot accommodate anymore because of the high influx of patients everywhere.
Right. You mentioned that when you were there, you were operating in a hospital in the south of the Gaza Strip. So we have read of news, reported news that Israeli forces are planning to launch a new operation to take over Gaza City. This will mean that more than 1 million people will be displaced and have to move south to concentration zones there. Can you talk to me about what that would mean in terms of not just the humanitarian crisis that's brewing here, but for the ability to provide medical care for all of these millions of displaced people?
Exactly. Despite the fact that there are many organizations, there are other organizations also in the south of Gaza. But imagine how many 1.2 million people again will move towards the south. For sure, there will be the hospitals and the other health facilities will be over capacity, as it is already the current situation now. That would mean that more and more medical resources would be needed. More and more resources, proper food for proper nutrition is needed. And also take into consideration sanitation and hygiene issues that will erupt from this. So, meaning, for this situation in Gaza, what is important is not only the emergency response that we're giving or the life-saving interventions that we are providing. What is important is to consider the primary healthcare level of the needs of the people. Hygiene and sanitation and food, these are the basics of human life. That's why we call for sustainable ceasefire so that aid could enter for proper food and for the basic needs of the people in Gaza.
Can I ask you then, what message would you like to convey to our audience today who are watching and feel hopeless but know they have some power? What would you like us to understand about the situation in Gaza and the urgent need for support for the survivors of this genocide?
For me, I would like to advocate that for the people of Gaza who has very less opportunity to air out their voice and their concerns, I would like to advocate that until now, people in Gaza has suffered too much already, and they need more and more support from all over the world, and to advocate for other countries to advocate for a sustainable ceasefire so that aid could enter Gaza, proper humanitarian aid could enter Gaza, so that people in Gaza will be able to breathe, or somehow at least step by step feel that people all around the world are concerned and are willing to support the people in Gaza. They have suffered too much already.
I've read of pieces where or reports where commentators say that Gaza has reached no point of return, the point of no return, regarding this induced famine, this man-made famine. Can I ask you whether you share the same opinion? Are you as concerned that there is little hope for Gaza to recover from this starvation crisis?
It is very sad for me, really. It's very sad for me to hear about these things. Every time I hear about this almost a hopeless case, Gaza is a hopeless case, because each and every day I was there, I see not only patients who are suffering from this, even our staff. Our staff are working overloaded in our field hospitals, in our health facilities. They are working, but they are also hungry. And at the same time, they are always worried about the security of their family, about the food for their family, about the water, or they live in tents. It's just so devastating. And so I do not lose hope. Me, as long as we are alive, and there are people who are working for humanity, I think this is not a hopeless case. And as long as we help each other and we are willing to help each other, anything is possible.
Juan, thank you so much for taking time to talk to me today, but also for your service in Gaza and through MSF. I appreciate your time. Thank you so much for talking to me.
Thank you for this opportunity.
That was Juan Perfecto Rafael Palma from MSF, wrapping up this episode of Consider This. I'm Melisa Idris, signing off for the evening. Thank you so much for watching, and good night.